All right, well, welcome back for another week to the Finals Drought. Rick, this floor is yours. Two on the trot. You got the scarf on. Take it away.
Tell you what, mate, I'm pretty happy. I'm very, very happy with the boys. Look, every week I feel like I come into this with a bit of a pessimistic outlook on how they played, but I've got to give credit where credit's due. This week they played
Not
out
this
of their
week.
skin. No, they look. I mean, I don't think GWS were at their best, but in saying that, though,
Hmm.
take nothing away from how the Bombers put pressure on quarter after quarter after quarter. It was four full quarters of pressure, which you don't
Hmm.
really see from the Bombers. And to see that, especially after a very narrow win against West Coast, we came into the
Hmm.
game as underdogs, and to put up a performance like that against a fairly good side, being GWS, it really puts a good emphasis on our capabilities for this year
Hmm.
and should set the standard now going into future games. We'll talk about next week in a second and
Yeah,
my thoughts,
should.
but um,
Hmm.
yeah, like I mean, we're sitting third now after round nine or whatever round it is. What round are we?
Yeah, we just finished round nine.
Yeah, like it's an awesome position to be in. We just knocked off JWS. Like, bring it on.
Let's go. Nah, look, mate, I'm happy for you. And like you say, you've definitely riding the waves of good emotion as an Essendon supporter. You guys, well, looking back, we sort of from that draw against Collingwood, it
Mm.
was that okay. We played Essendon played out of their skin. Next week, danger game against West Coast because we've gone from such a high. They got Harley Reid back, and you're right, they pushed you a goal over at West Coast, but like you said, it was the game you just had to win, and well, you won it. But in a way, you've then gone, well, let's take that momentum into GWS. Before the weekend, they were arguably one of the sort of premiership favourites, and I reckon the weekend's really sort of brought them back a peg. And then you look at it and you go, well, you've now got what, five in a row undefeated. Obviously, there's a draw in there, and
Yeah.
you know, Langford's a kick away from actually winning that for you, or giving you the best position to win. Like we said,
Yeah.
Collingwood could have always taken it out and scored more, but um, to actually set yourselves up with then, like we said, the run up to the demolition derby between our teams, but like or the soapy water game, but up on the Gold Coast. But like the fact that you've got basically five undefeated and then playing against two of the worst teams at the moment in Richmond and North. Obviously North this weekend, but yeah, you got to be happy. We obviously
Yes.
we had the bye on the weekend. Um, I
Well,
think
you
the
you could
North
almost
Melbourne
call it
bye.
that. Yeah. 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 But no, you'd be
Yeah.
pretty happy with your
Um,
boys having not just a good performance,
yeah.
but I think an expected performance against that sort of that sort of a side. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, if we go back to the last 2 weeks, get smashed by Brisbane and then smashed North Melbourne, it sort of shows you what we're kind of dealing with these days and the I don't know the tumultuous, inconsistent nature that is Gold Coast. I think the fact that we beat North Melbourne well is good. It is the status quo, and it's also nice that we are playing them up in Darwin because we definitely played Darwin well, and it definitely, as we'll talk about in a bit, gives us a good run and a good chance against Geelong as well. Is because if you want to play Geelong anywhere, Darwin's not the worst place to play them, at
Mm.
least for us. But I think it's also just important to note that, yeah, without getting too caught into the pessimism as a Gold Coast fan, is the fact that the last team North Melbourne beat was us. So the last game they actually won was against us, which was round 24 last year.
24.
Which
Hmm.
obviously by them beating us means that they don't get Harley Reid, and that's probably a different decision that they made because imagine him pushing blokes off for North and the amount of difference that would have made. That seemed like a
Mm.
bit of a tactical error. They could have somehow laid an egg against the Gold Coast side that we already had lost our coach. Like it wouldn't have made a difference if they'd won or lost to us. It would have made no difference to either team. But
Mm.
yeah, whoops. But no, but the fact that they did beat us last time we played each other, good that we beat them this time and sort of reset that on its way. So no, look, that's been our week. I will yeah, I'd like to get your thoughts on Essendon though. So obviously you are sitting third. Happy
Hmm.
days. You've got a stinky percentage. Like you are the worst percentage in the top eight or the lowest percentage in the top eight. And
Yeah.
then this week they've released the fixture from round 16 to 23, and Essendon has been rated the hardest draw for those rounds.
Mm.
115% of difficulty, whatever the number was.
Yeah.
Is this the year, or yeah? Where to next?
I was just
Where to
thinking
next,
that.
Rick? Predict the future.
Well, I'll just put my Nostradamus hat on. Yeah, look, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it all starts with the next couple of weeks because the next couple of weeks are really important that we don't take the foot off the brake and we need to win. Like,
Mm,
similar to what I said about West Coast, they're games that we have to win. They're almost more important than the win against GWS in a way, because the expectation now is that we have to be consistent enough to beat the underperforming teams. So North Melbourne
mm,
next week,
mm.
Richmond the week after, and obviously Richmond with their injury woes and so on and so forth. It's
Yeah.
it's having to put the win on the board for the next 2 weeks to say, right, we're still competitive. And yeah, we've got the worst percentage in the top eight. And if we do lose one of the next two, then why even bother being in the top eight?
Yeah.
If you're going to lose to a team
Yeah.
like that and you have the percentage that you do have. So, but look, I
Mm,
think the experience and I think the wherewithal that Brad Scott has would be really drilling into him that the fact that it's all well and good to be GWS, but you're only as good as your last win. And if we come out
mm.
and absolutely shit the bed against either North or Richmond, then
Yeah.
there's an argument to say
Yeah.
that we don't deserve to be in the top eight at all. And
Yeah.
especially after that, leading into the latter part of the season, we need to put ourselves in a good enough position that we can afford a loss or we can afford
Mm.
the typical belting that Essendon get every now and then. Because I think we lost to Port Adelaide by like almost 100 points.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what unfortunately has put our percentage in such a really poor state because we weren't able to be competitive against them. So
Yeah.
we need to remain consistent and be competitive against the better teams, win the games that we were
Yeah.
expected to win, which would hopefully give us a chance to actually win a final this season. That's the
Yeah.
hope.
Well, and
So
that's it. And in a way, like if you can do to North and to Richmond what Gold Coast and Bulldogs did to North and Richmond over the weekend, which is two big wins, two 50, 60-point wins in a row, would get your percentage up to mid 110s anyway, and then you're running away with it again. Like you say, gets those 8 points. You're then starting to solidify yourselves in the top eight. Obviously, you want to finish the back end of the year strong. And even though they're saying it's the hardest run, I think it's only one of the games is played out of Victoria. So, I mean, like, it's not like it's impossible. And at least you're going to have the ability to look after those young bodies, like we said, a couple of
mm,
weeks back. But if you can somehow scrape into the top four, it takes all the pressure off that first final. Because if you can scrape into the first, it's not to say that you don't want to go out in straight sets and lose two, but at least you know, hey, we're in the top four. Win this, we're through to a prelim,
mm,
and then you go, hey, let's play it out of our skins again, boys. Or even if we lose this week, there's always a second chance. It's not one and done, another year without finals, and well, this podcast continues on as the finals drought, not the once finals drought, now the grand final drought. I don't know whatever we rebrand to, but
restart the
look,
clock.
I completely I completely hear where you're going. So
Yeah.
no, like you say, it's not all for nothing because you can only beat the teams that are put in front of you,
Mm,
but you also don't want to get too far down the track looking at the fixture because, like we said, it's always about the timing of when you play someone, not who you play. And 4 or 5 weeks ago, great time to play Collingwood. Now, not so good time to play Collingwood. They're starting to roll again. Melbourne have been up and down a little bit. Geelong, clearly, like which week do you get them? I mean,
mm.
we'll talk about it soon, but they're carrying a few injuries and they're playing us in Darwin. Well, it makes them gettable. Hawthorn have been up and down as well, and even St Kilda, where St Kilda early doors, they were going to be a top four side, and now they're going to be a bottom four side. So no,
Mm.
it's good place to be. I wish I was in the top eight. I wish we were in the top eight. So
Let's just say
yeah,
I've been walking a little bit taller this last few days.
good,
So no,
good, good
but yeah,
man.
look, if we can sort of move into next week, I think yeah, I'll start with you actually because I feel like you always start with me,
Mm.
mate. I feel honored and privileged, but we'll start with you,
You can
considering you
ask.
guys are
No,
the
you can ask the question.
well, because you guys are the first game of the round. I think it's only fitting.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
Thursday
Geelong,
night footy.
yeah, Geelong in is it Canberra?
No, Darwin.
Darwin. I don't know where I got Canberra from, but yeah, it's obviously where you played last week, so I'm assuming the boys are probably still going to be there, not having to travel, which
Yep.
is easier for the bodies. What do you reckon?
Yeah. If we're going to beat Geelong, this is the week to do it.
Hmm.
I know we're not favourites going into the game, but if there's one ground we play well, it's Darwin because I think they are similar conditions to our to ours. We've got a couple of local Darwin boys that are in the team, and they always just look smooth, silky, fast on TIO Stadium or whatever the name is now up at Darwin. And and yeah, like even on the weekend, like Joel Jeffrey's getting 20, 22 possessions and kicking at something like a 95% disposal efficiency. And
Good.
that's, night game in Darwin against North, but against a team that even the other Gold Coast boys weren't using the ball that well. And he's
Hmm.
going 95% disposal efficiency. So, and that was his first game of the year. So it just shows you that the conditions clearly suit some of our boys. Um, and yeah, I'm keen to see how we can go this week. Obviously, Jeremy Cameron, I think, is out with concussion. So better to play Geelong without Jeremy Cameron than with. Tom Hawkins, I think they're already talking about going to rest him,
Think
and
so, yeah.
then they might play him if Cameron with Cameron out. But even even with him in the team, I just feel like Geelong are a slick ball movement team,
Hmm.
and the fact they've just lost to Port, maybe they're going to try and come out with a bit more ferocity. But if they try and come out in those slippery conditions, it's almost not going to play in their advantage. So, look, oh, I don't know, I might be as bold to tip Gold Coast, but
Okay.
again, I think if we're going to play Geelong up there, given that it's going to be a wet footy, given that it's going to be low scoring, or if it is going to be high scoring, it always seems to go both ways. So I'm going to hope a positive result is anything within 2 goals, I reckon. Anything within 2 goals or a win, very happy with. After that point, then it's sort of a blown opportunity. So that's my read for the game this week.
I
You
like it.
guys, you have the buy early morning on was it Saturday, the early Sunday slot? Just a bit
Yeah.
of a training run again. Well, what would be one of your more hated oppositions, I guess, from historical sense, is North and obviously it's not Collingwood and it's not Carlton, but North and Essendon don't have necessarily a great history with each other. So
No, and I think that probably stems from the 2001 comeback game when we were 60 points down at I think it was just
mm,
after quarter time or something like that, and we ended up coming back and winning the game. That was 23 years ago, but but yeah, look, I mean, yeah, it's always a good game, and I think whenever a team comes up against an opposition that has former players in it, it's obviously going to make it
yeah,
um, a lot more exciting to watch. And I think with the way Goldstein's been
spicy.
playing, yeah, exactly. And with the way Goldstein's been playing, it's been really positive for us and has provided a lot of structure to our midfield. And I have a
Yeah,
feeling that having Brad Scott as our coach and Todd Goldstein as the man in the middle, it's almost like rewind the clock, 15 years ago, whatever it was, when Essendon had
yeah,
Bomber Thompson, who led Essendon to a victory over Geelong in their premiership year
Mm.
when we were so, you know, not favorites. I don't know what the opposite is. But
Yeah.
like that's the thing.
Underdogs. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I actually said it earlier. But I think you have that insider knowledge on how the other team operates and how they play. So you just have a
Yeah.
bit of an edge. Not to say that this is the Essendon edge, because that's a different story altogether. But I think knowing the team, Chris Scott will know exactly how to play the boys. And I think this is one of those rare opportunities where I confidently tip the Bombers. So I'd be very
Yeah.
happy with that. So yeah.
Okay. Well, look, we'll eat some humble pie next week when you guys somehow lay an egg, but
Don't even start, mate.
lose it. But no. And what is it? McKercher and all their boys play out of their skins for the first week, and Clarko's been setting them up and prepping them. But no, I wish you well and wish you good luck. I would like just to say, for whatever and whoever is listening to this, that the news in the last week or so that Gold Coast is revising logo, jumper, all these things, is that I can't be
Really?
more excited. One of my it came out on, I think, channel, I think it was 7. Mitch Cleary, I think, said that they had a bit of a meeting and they're starting to look into it,
Interesting.
reducing the size of the logo on the jumper or just and redesigning the logo anyway. Because I got to say, I think we've got the worst jumper in the AFL. I think we've got the worst logo in the AFL, and we've got great colours to work with, and we absolutely shit the bed every year with the exact same jumper that looks like someone did it on PowerPoint, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Like it's honestly the worst. It's been the bane of the existence. Hence why even when we win, there's no scarf, there's no jumper, there's no hat on me. We've honestly got the worst logo and jumper combo in the league for not the worst colours. So let's get it right as a club. Let's sort it out.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to whatever they come up with, but no, I'll be voting as a member. So we'll get them better. Is my 2 cents.
Well, I think with the induction of the Tassie Devils, mate, they've got such a cool logo and some cool like I mean the
Yeah,
green probably isn't the most eye-catching color, but at the same time they made it look good. So yeah,
it's
only
their
fit.
colour. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
true. Yeah, yeah. But I think yeah, it's probably time that you rebrand a little bit. I don't know.
Well, I think it's interesting. I heard a couple of funny jokes. Is that like Damien Hardwick just doesn't look good in a red polo, so they're trying to pump up the yellow a bit more, and almost like his Richmond days where he can wear like a yellow. He prefers yellow on his skin, but I think for us, like it's the right time in a way. We've had such a poor history that
Hmm.
if we can move into a rebrand on the eve of making finals, and whether that's this year, doubtful.
Hmm.
Although, just mentioning before, you've got the hardest run. I think we've got the 16th hardest run, as in the third easiest run.
Yeah.
It goes Geelong, Carlton, and then us. So, in terms of easy runs in, we've got a very easy run. So, there might be the odd chance that we sneak into finals. But as we build towards the premiership, I think this is where, or the hopeful premiership, is that, I hope we can have a bit of a better look. So we'll see how it goes exactly.
Mm.
See if we can capture it. But look, finally before we roll off, weight loss, looking skinny, feeling skinny. How's it gone this week?
The jumper's getting a bit big for me now. Yeah, no,
Good,
good.
good, good, good.
I've lost almost 2 kilos over the last 3 weeks. Change it up a little bit,
Perfect.
like with my diet. I think the way I sort of had things with my evening meals was probably not exactly right.
Mm.
So I've changed that up a little bit, which I think has helped. And yeah, I think I don't want to jinx myself, but I think this week might be a good week.
Oh, yeah,
We'll see
good.
how we go.
Hey, it's consistent. That's it. It's consistency, and like the Bombers, you get some wins against some underdog or some favourite opposition, and it's funny how that momentum builds. So
That's
now
it.
what? 16 weeks in, and I think 8 kilos down. So mate,
Yep.
keep working. You've got a bit of a catch up to go, but like you'll see, if you can start dropping kegs quickly, you'll catch that number up really quickly. So
Yeah, well, that's the hope. I mean, yeah, I'm definitely not where I want to be, but I'm aware of that, which I think is the most important thing because I'm making the changes to try and get to that point. So, yeah,
Yeah,
appreciate
that's
the
it. And
support.
the fact you've actually lost weight, the fact you've actually lost weight and you're not gaining weight, that's not a bad, not a bad direction to be going in.
Well, if I do well enough this week, I'm going to be very close to losing 10 kilos. And the way I sort of think about it is
Yeah.
if I can lose like 1.5 kilos, I'm at 9.5 kilos lost by the end of this week. And I know I'm not exactly where I want to be, but to think about how I've lost
Mm.
almost 10 kilos, like it's a pretty good achievement. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, although it's not exactly where I want to
It's
be at,
more, it's no,
yeah.
it's still more kilos lost than Bombers wins. So the last how many seasons? So I mean, like it's not, it's not nothing, but
Yeah. No, but yeah, I mean, it's so long as I'm doing I'm heading in the right direction. That's the main thing. So,
yeah, that's it.
yeah, exciting times ahead.
Always excited times ahead. But yeah, for another week, we'll wrap it up there. Good luck to your boys. Good luck to my boys, and
That's it.
we'll see you next week, Rick.
That's it. Next week, you've got Carlton, we've got Richmond. We'll talk about that then. And then
The
we've
live
got it.
watch.
Oh, I'm pumped. I'm actually so pumped.
Yeah,
It's gonna be good. I can't
yeah,
wait.
that'll be good.
All right, mate. I'll talk to you then.
Hopefully you pick up a few injuries between now and then because you're looking
No,
good.
no, let's hope everyone stays nice and fit. We might rest a couple blokes against North. We could probably afford
Oh, yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Well, I thought you were going to say rest a few against us. Is how well you'd be traveling. Yeah.
We'll see how we go.
No, that's it, mate. Hey, have a good one. Thank you very much, Rick.
Thanks, mate.